This could change everything for the Cincinnati Bengals. Reports are starting to surface that Joe Burrow might make his return in December, and that single update has completely shaken up the conversation in Cincinnati. Let's talk about what this means, and more importantly, which games he could be back for. Right now, the Bengals are rolling with Joe Flacco, and he's been solid. But here's the real question every fan is asking: what happens to this offense when Burrow steps back in? Before we dive deeper into this latest Bengals update, make sure you subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and hit the bell icon so you never miss out on fresh Bengals news. Alright, let's move on to the big story. According to recent reports, Joe Burrow's rehab is going extremely well. There's growing optimism inside the organization that we could see number 9 back on the field before the regular season ends. And you know Burrow, he's one of the most competitive players in the league. Watching Flacco come in and keep the offense moving has to light that fire in him even more. But let's be real, while Flacco has done a commendable job, this is still Burrow's team. He's the leader, the heartbeat, and the future of the Bengals. Cincinnati can't wait to see him back in that orange and black, leading this team again. The connection between Joe Burrow and Ja'Marr Chase is something special, something you just can't manufacture. Sure, Flacco's held things together, but what Burrow has with Chase is pure instinct. It's timing, trust, and rhythm built over years. When those two are locked in, Cincinnati's offense feels unstoppable. Now, according to NFL insider Ian Rappaport, there's a growing belief that Burrow could be back for the final 2 or 3 games of the season. That's right, we might actually see number 9 back in orange and black before the regular season ends. If everything continues to go smoothly with his recovery, the earliest return date could be December 21st against the Miami Dolphins. That matchup could be the perfect opportunity for Burrow to shake off the rust, test his movement, and regain his rhythm just before a potential playoff push. And let's be honest, no one doubts Burrow's mindset. He's not the type to ease back in slowly. If he's cleared to play, he's coming out swinging, ready to reclaim his offense. Looking at Cincinnati's late-season schedule, things line up nicely. After Miami, the Bengals face Arizona at home, another winnable game that could help Burrow and the offense get back in sync before things really heat up. With the offensive line showing real improvement lately, this could be the best possible timing for Burrow's return. If everything clicks, the protection, the chemistry, the play calling, the Bengals could make a serious push when it matters most. Because let's face it, when Joe Burrow is on the field, this team believes again. The biggest question in Cincinnati right now isn't just when Joe Burrow returns, it's what happens when he does. Because this offensive line has started to find its rhythm. The protection looks sharper, the communication is improving, and you can see the confidence growing with every snap. That's exactly what Burrow will need when he steps back onto the field after rehab, a wall of protection that lets him focus on dissecting defenses, not dodging pressure. But here's where things get tricky. Joe Flacco has been turning heads. The veteran came in, picked up the playbook quickly, and delivered a strong performance against Pittsburgh, the kind of game that earns respect in any locker room. And you just know that's fueling Burrow's fire. He's one of the fiercest competitors in the league. Watching someone else lead his team has to sting a little, even if he's rooting for wins. So what if Flacco keeps it rolling? What if the Bengals stay hot and push deep into playoff contention? Then comes the tough question: do you ride the hot hand with Flacco, or hand the reins back to Burrow, the face of the franchise, who might still be shaking off some rust? Cincinnati's closing stretch won't make that decision any easier. They've got Miami on December 21st, followed by Arizona, and then a final showdown with the Browns at home. And here's the twist: Flacco spent time with Cleveland. He knows their tendencies, their schemes, maybe even a few weaknesses that could come in handy when these teams meet again. Every one of those final games looks winnable on paper, but the real battle might be inside the locker room, figuring out which quarterback gives the Bengals their best shot down the stretch. Either way, one thing's clear: this team has fight, depth, and something special building. And when Joe Burrow returns to full strength, the entire AFC better be on alert, because the Bengals could be gearing up for a serious run. It's been a whirlwind few weeks in Cincinnati. Joe Flacco gets traded in, practices on Wednesday, suits up against Green Bay, then turns around and starts again on a short week versus Pittsburgh. And somehow, he's looked sharp through all of it. In just 2 games, Flacco has posted a quarterback rating around 100, thrown for over 500 yards and 5 touchdowns, and most importantly, no interceptions. That's efficiency the Bengals desperately needed. What's made it click? His quick release. Flacco's been getting the ball out in roughly 2.5 seconds per throw, and that's made life a lot easier for the offensive line. It's no secret that Cincinnati's protection unit performs better when the quarterback isn't hanging onto the ball too long. But that raises a real question for this team. When Joe Burrow returns, will he adapt that faster rhythm, or stick with his trademark style, buying time, creating off-script, and firing darts downfield? There's no denying Burrow's magic. He can turn a broken play into a highlight reel moment. But after an injury, mobility and timing take time to come back. Meanwhile, Flacco's rhythm has kept this offense balanced and efficient. Still, this is Joe Burrow's team. If he's healthy and moving well, you hand him the ball, no hesitation. Zach Taylor's going to have a tough decision if Flacco keeps this pace, but everyone in that locker room knows the long-term answer lies with number 9. Flacco's history shows both sides of the coin. He's capable of elite stretches, but he's also had moments where turnovers became an issue. For now, he's been disciplined, smart, and steady, exactly what the Bengals need to stay in the race. And make no mistake, Cincinnati is right in the thick of the AFC playoff battle. They're sitting just a game and a half behind Pittsburgh, and every upcoming week matters. Those final 3 games in December could decide everything: the playoff picture, Burrow's comeback, and maybe even the future direction of this team. At this point, every Bengals fan shares the same hope: that Joe Burrow comes back healthy, confident, and ready to lead this team again. Because if he returns at full strength, this offense instantly transforms. The timing, the rhythm, the leadership, it all comes back together. Cincinnati has fought through adversity all season, and now, everything depends on how quickly Burrow can rediscover that elite form. The stage is set for something special. The defense is improving, the offensive line is holding up better, and the team's energy feels different, hungrier, sharper, and more determined than ever. So now, it's all about December. Will Burrow return in time to spark one last playoff push? Will we see that familiar calm swagger take over again when number 9 steps onto the field? One thing's for sure, the Bengals aren't done yet. Their fight, their belief, and their franchise quarterback might just make this one of the most unforgettable finishes in recent Cincinnati history.